Hey everyone, how's it going? The 0 experience point challenge is probably one of my favorite challenges I do on this channel. And it's very simple. This is a completely unmodified version of Pokemon Yellow, which I almost never get to play. But of course, there is one modification. When we win a battle... All right, thank you, Pikachu. That was really great. I didn't want to lose that battle. But as I was saying, when I win a battle, I gain 0 experience points. And that's it. We can do pretty much whatever we like. I'm not going to use items in battle because, well, that's too easy. So other than that, oh, I also won't use duplicate Pokemon in the same party. But other than those two things, whatever we can do to beat this game without gaining a single experience point, we're going to do. I'm sure you're wondering how in the world a level 5 Pikachu is going to beat Brock. Or how the heck I'm going to beat the Elite Four. What am I even going to use? All those questions and more will be answered. But first, I need to give a big thank you once again to this video's sponsor, Boot.dev. Now, Boot.dev offers a great way to learn back-end web development from start to finish in Python, Go, and SQL. Now, one really cool thing about Boot.dev, if you were to go to it right now, is you get a bit of a demo, and then you can continue in guest mode. You get access to all the courses for free, minus the interactive features. And for me, the hands-on coding, Boots, the AI assistant, progress tracking, these are things that can make learning back-end web development a lot more exciting. And this is one of the biggest things Boot.dev wants to do, to make learning code not boring so you stick with it long enough to reach your goals. One of the great things about the interactive element of Boot.dev is that you're going to be writing a lot of code and you can build real projects. Boot.dev understands that learning to code is not some get-rich-quick scheme. Their curriculum takes time and goes properly in depth in both the theory and the practical applications. So if Boot.dev sounds like something you'd be interested in, you can go there right now and try the courses for free. But if you use my code, JRose11, you'll get 25% off your entire first year if you choose the annual plan. All right, so in order to talk about what Pokemon I want to get, we need to talk about what we're going to face in Brock, the first gym leader. Brock is fairly similar to Red and Blue, same two Pokemon, but the Geodude and Onix are both 2 levels lower, and the Geodude no longer knows Defense Curl, which actually for our purposes may be a good thing. Now, sadly, without experience points, there's nothing with any kind of moves that are going to be anything but not very effective. Wow, that was like a triple negative. Point is, all my attacks are going to be not very effective. So what am I going to use? Well, it took me a really long time to get these Pokemon. 8 hours and 23 minutes. And rather than show you that, let me show you the Brock battle because, spoiler, I'll have a lot of time to talk. All right, so we're going to lead with a level 6 Nidoran female. This is exclusive to Yellow and can be caught on Route 2. Its job is to growl. Now, one of the most famous weird catches, the level 9 Viridian Forest 1% Pidgeotto is going to be our ace here. It's going to lower accuracy with Sand Attack, and I actually did not mean to switch in Spearow there. I meant to switch in Mankey. Now, the highest level Mankey you can get is level 5, but Mankey is actually not going to be there for its low kicking. Instead, it's going to be there for its leer. Now, even with all those leers, level 5 Mankey just doesn't do enough, but level 9 Pidgeotto is doing great. Unfortunately, Geodude does get a critical hit, but what can you do? And we're going to do the same thing versus Onix. Now, when we see Bind, I could have swapped out, but we want to see Bide. And then we just want to spam Growl. Pikachu can't actually damage Onix or Geodude, and that crit kind of sucks, but you can see why now we have another Pokemon from Route 2, level 6 Nidoran male. The most important Pokemon if you're doing a yellow glitchless speedrun, at least last time I did one, 11 years ago. Wow, I'm old. Anyway, yeah, now we're just going to Sand Attack for safety, and then we're going to Gust. Sadly, Bide always hits, so I got to be a little careful here. And we don't want Pidgeotto. Well, actually, you can see with Mankey why we don't want Pidgeotto to faint. Nothing else does anything decent. That crit was actually pretty lucky. But yeah, Spearow, I actually thought it had Leer. I didn't realize it had Growl. But level 6 Spearow, available on Route 22. And actually, I think it's level 6 Spearow that is going to take down the Onix. And that is how you defeat Brock without gaining a single experience point. Also, I have no idea why Brock won't look at us. Maybe he's so ashamed he lost to Pokemon that are basically just wild Pokemon. But yes, Brock is defeated, although hilariously enough, what's even more difficult is just after Brock, we still can't catch anything stronger for a little bit. So we have to do these next battles with some pretty underpowered Pokemon. Now, thankfully, we do have the level 9 Pidgeotto, even though it doesn't have a flying move. But it's not so weak that these trainers are going to be impossible. In Red and Blue, we would be dealing with like level 6 Pokemon on our team, and these trainers would be a lot more annoying. So thank goodness we're playing Yellow. Now, as we fight these trainers, I should mention that we're pretty much going to get a different team for every single gym. And rather than showing you the process of catching the Pokemon, because I'll admit, I kind of just did this run for fun. I didn't really plan it out. So sometimes I would kind of catch things and then they wouldn't end up being used because I thought maybe. So it's more interesting to show you what I actually used for the major battles as opposed to just the random catches along the way. The next major battle is Rival 2. Now, Rival 2 leads with a Spearow as opposed to a Pidgeotto from Red and Blue. And that's super helpful because Spearow, well, I guess Leer and Growl kind of suck, but Sand Attack is worse. We have a level 11 Geodude from Mount Moon. That is the highest level Geodude you can get, and it almost knocks out the Spearow. I can then use Quick Attack from Rattata, level 12, to knock it out. You can see it also has Water Gun from Mount Moon. Doesn't actually do that much. In fact, I kind of realized as Rattata fainted, there may have been a better Pokemon to use, but sadly, can't do that now. Anyway, Zubat now will come out, confuse the Sandshrew, and then level 12 Spearow, you can catch a level 12 Spearow as well, so that's going to help us. And now level 13 Clefairy, another rare encounter. Does not last very long. Level 9 Mankey is something I caught on Route 3. Unfortunately, it doesn't hit a single time. And this Rattata is doing quite a lot of damage to me. Sadly, it looks like all is going to be lost. And we just have level 13 Zubat, our highest level Pokemon, but a Zubat. And alas, a junior trainer. We lose. Ha 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 ha, get it? Because, like, alas, it's like... Anyway, now, we did get the TM for Mega Punch in Mount Moon, and I'm going to teach that to Geodude, because Mega Punch, although it can miss... Oh, come on, don't use Growl. Although it can miss, it'll do a lot of damage. So, what do I want to sacrifice? Spearow v Spearow. All right, back to Geodude. Stop using Growl! Are you kidding me? So, the Leers actually do badge boost me. So we're kind of doing a decent amount. And we're going to knock out Spearow, which is... All right. Okay. We're going to knock out Spearow. I wish... Oh, no, come on. Oh, God. I wish we could hit. The other thing I wish we did is I wish instead of teaching Rattata Water Gun... I don't know why I didn't think about this. I could have used the Moonstone. I have one extra Moonstone. And I could have used that on Clefairy. You only get 4... But at most, I would only need 3 for what I want, so that probably would have been better. That's, you know, not my best decision. Anyway, we've made it to Rattata, and I can go for Sing, which is perfect. Because now I can swap in Mankey, and in theory, low kick. All right. Low kick. Tackle. No. Yeah! Low kick! Level 9 Mankey. So this was not available prior to Brock. I wish it were. But it did make quick work of the final 2 Pokemon. And now that we've gotten past Rival 2, we get access to a couple new routes, which are going to have one very specific Pokemon that I think is going to be very helpful for Misty. Well, actually, if we get by Bill, there's going to be another Pokemon that's going to be very helpful for everything. But before I resort to probably the cheapest strategy in the Zero EXP challenge, I might as well try something less cheap and more seemingly intended. Alrighty, so Misty, I can lead with the level 10 Bulbasaur that you get. You just have to feed your Pikachu a bunch of potions and then it's friendly enough. But anyway, I can also catch an Oddish. And between the Absorb and the Leech Seed, we have pretty much... Oh, wow, that sucked. We've pretty much all our HP. Now, I'm going to just tank... Okay, I guess I'm not. A Bubble Beam. I'd love Growl to have worked. I'm just going to let Geodude faint. There's really no reason. Zubat, try and confuse it. Perfect. Perfect. Now I'm going to go into Bulbasaur. All right, that sucks. Come on. Yes. Leech Seed, perfect. Ooh, now Growl. All right. I think we got this. So we're going to swap back into the Oddish eventually. Actually, maybe not. So Starmie, unfortunately for it, is stuck using Tackle because of Gen 1 logic. It won't go for Bubble Beam, even though it would do way more damage. And since it keeps also using Harden, a move that it did not have in Red and Blue, Bulbasaur is actually going to solo Starmie. So the level 10 Bulbasaur that I didn't really think I was going to use ends up being the MVP of Misty. So level 9 Pidgey and level 10 Bulbasaur have been our mains for the first two gyms, if you wanted to know how silly this challenge is. But the laughter and the silliness is about to come to a quick end, because we're about to get one of the greatest Pokemon in Zero EXP history, one of the stupidly most over-leveled wild Pokemon in Pokemon history. Introducing, as soon as I can find the Great Ball, level 31 Dugtrio. You can see I actually caught a level 29 Dugtrio to repel. So we are going to be allowed duplicate Pokemon, just not in the same party. So only one at a time. So goodbye level 29 Dugtrio, which I only used for like 5 seconds. Hello, level 31 Dugtrio at the third gym. And at this point, this is way too overpowered. Don't believe me? Here's the Rival 3 battle. We're going to use Scratch, and it's a 2-shot. Scratch. Then we go for Dig on Rattata. That's easy going to one-shot. It one-shots Sandshrew, which is pretty bulky. But, yeah. Just total and utter annihilation. This is way too high a level, and against Raichu, the only Pokemon Surge has, I think you know what's coming here. Now, I did do this challenge in Fire Red and Leaf Green, and this Dugtrio was very good there. But in this challenge, would it surprise you to learn that Dugtrio is actually not going to be the ace of any other gym? Yellow does make some interesting changes, such that this Dugtrio really isn't going to help that much. It'll help with random battles. I mean, it is very over-leveled for this point of the game, but specifically for Erika, it isn't a good matchup being ground type, so we may want to pivot to something else. But what? Well, specifically in Yellow version, on Route 8, and I used the Repel trick, a Pokemon that is a high enough level so that I only will get one encounter, and that encounter is a level 27 Kadabra. Now, this thing actually does have teleport, so I just throw a Great Ball at it. And yeah, this took me like 20 minutes. So I was pretty happy I got the Kadabra. But we are going to use my channel's mascot, genuinely, to help with some of the next major battles. First up is Erika. She actually leads with Tangela in yellow. I didn't realize this. Psybeam with a crit is going to be a 3-hitter. And now out comes Weepin' Bell, which is going to be a 2-hitter, but I'm put to sleep. And then Razor Leaf plus Acid knocks me out. Level 20 Pidgeotto I've acquired, and it does no Fly, which I used to knock out Weepin' Bell. Now, I guess level 31 Dugtrio, we're going to use you after all. Because, alright, well, Petal Dance is going to knock you out, but I did half. Oddish, go. Okay, at the very least, it's going to confuse itself. That's good. Now, Eevee that you get, go for quick attack. Oh, actually, Eevee, yeah, Eevee. I didn't know what to evolve it to. I guess Flareon would have helped, but we won anyway. Of course, that Eevee is available at level 25 in Celadon City. This was not the best team for Erika. There were other things I could have caught. I thought Kadabra would be better, but a win's a win. And yes, I could have gotten Psychic, but the thing with TMs, they're single use, and the Elite Four is probably going to be really tough. So I'm saving all of my TMs for the Elite Four. So you'll notice I pretty much am using just HMs, renewable TMs like the ones you can buy in the Celadon Mart, or just sticking with the moves that the game gave to me. Now, I normally wouldn't battle Rival 4 next. I was doing this on stream. Wow, nice crit, Kadabra. So Kadabra takes out Fearow. I realized during the battle that I'm supposed to go back and I need the Sylph Scope, but Kadabra is just sweeping through this entire... Is it going to sweep through this entire team? Oh, it is. Okay, yay, Kadabra. Told you Kadabra's great. I mean, it's only 4 levels lower, and yeah, it would be much better with Psychic, but Psybeam's still pretty good. I'm glad it has that. And speaking of Psybeam, Giovanni #1, we're going to go with Psybeam here, and a Psybeam there, and Persian, okay, Screech, and Psybeam, all right, Growl, okay. All right, well, that was lucky. Could have gone for Slash. But anyway, Kadabra has beaten the last 2 major battles. Not the most difficult ones, admittedly, but still. And you'll see we have Hitmonlee. I got it from the Fighting Dojo, which Kadabra also helped with. I don't think we're going to use Hitmonlee. It's why I mentioned I'm not going to go over every Pokemon I catch, because some of them we ended up not really needing at all. Now, at this point of the game, we're actually done with major battles until Koga. But in yellow, if you remember, Koga's completely changed with 3 level 40, high level 40 Venonat, followed by a level 50 Venomoth. So, we're not going to be able to just use our level 26 Kadabra and beat it, right? We're going to have to catch new things in the Safari Zone. Well, let's find out. So, level 44, I actually outspeed and 2 Psybeams knock it out. Toxic is fine. And there, the Supersonic Mist. So we're down 2 Venonat. Double Edge. All right. Kadabra did well. Now I'm going to go for the level 31 Dugtrio. And it's going to take out this Venonat. But level 50 Venomoth, Psychic. And so now I've got to... Well, I don't have a lot of options here. It goes for Leech Life. I go for Amnesia. And then Double Team, Strength, Psychic, Leech Life, Strength, Toxic, Strength. Wow, is this Snorlax? Oh my god, the Snorlax! I don't usually catch this thing. Level 30 Snorlax. You'll see I had a Nidoqueen there from the Safari Zone. That's what I wanted one of my Moonstones for. Sadly, Psychic would have probably destroyed it. But yeah, Koga's not very easy in yellow, especially because the Safari Zone doesn't really give you any great Psychic Pokemon at a decent level. But yeah, Dugtrio, Kadabra, and hey, level 30 Snorlax came in handy here to beat Koga. And now that we've beaten Koga, we get access to Surf. And now that we have access to Surf, there are a lot more Pokemon. Actually, there were more Pokemon we could use for Koga that I didn't realize. But there's even more Pokemon I can get now. So I've caught a bunch of Pokemon. And yeah, one of them's level 40 Tentacruel. This is available only in yellow version as a surfing encounter, and it's pretty good. The best thing is that, oh wow, it just gets knocked out. But now I have level 40 Starmie. This is a fishing encounter at the bottom of the Seafoam Island, so I couldn't have got it during Koga. But with a Water Stone, it becomes Starmie, and yeah, they're both level 40. So now I have 2 level 40 Pokemon, and that was good enough against Blaine, considering they're both water type. But I was saying, Surf being an HM is huge, because I can just teach every water Pokemon, which there are a lot of, the best move they can learn. And now I can go battle Rival Fivel, and I don't anticipate this being overly tough with level 40 Pokemon, including 2 of the strongest in Gen 1, Tentacruel and Starmie, also 22 hours. Holy mackerel. Anyway, Rival Fivel, I guess technically this isn't him because it's yellow, but whatever. Sandslash, Surf, one shot. Magneton, Surf, one shot with a crit. Ninetales, Quick Attack, Surf, one shot, no crit needed. Kadabra, it's not an Alakazam, one shot with the crit. And so let's talk about Vaporeon for a second. I wish that I didn't lose the battle because Vaporeon is the worst Pokemon considering I'm running a water team. I'm going to switch in Dugtrio here just to... Oh, wow. Actually, I didn't think I'd outspeed, but that's good. I was just doing that. Oh, my God. So I still have a level 14 Oddish, by the way. That was for cut. But yeah, Starmie will just knock it out with Surf. If I would have beaten the first rival battle, the one, remember, that I said I didn't want to lose, that was why, it would have been a Flareon. And if I would have beaten Rival 1A, it would have been a Jolteon, which would have been terrible. I'm glad I didn't do that. But yeah, it is a Vaporeon, which is really, really, really annoying. Flareon plus Cloyster would have been pretty good. But, is what it is. So at this point, the major battles are kind of trivial. Level 40 Tentacruel, as you'd know from my solo run series, even though it's not in yellow. Good enough. It's a very good Pokemon. And honestly, for the foreseeable future, I don't really see any huge obstacles, at least until Rival 6. Of course, I don't want to play Tentacruel against a Psychic Gym, but I have Starmie for that. I can also swap... Oh yeah, this Abra just likes to use Flash. It's very annoying. But Dugtrio gets crits, so that's good. And wow, is Dugtrio going to beat this Kadabra? That'd be... I'm going to... Okay. That'd be so funny if level 31 Dugtrio beat... Oh wow, Psywave. That actually really did suck. Alright, Alakazam uses Reflect, Surf. Okay, keeps using Reflect. Oh, I think it's good AI. Alright, I think that's good AI. Actually, no. That's still a Psychic type move. I don't know why I did that. That was just... I don't know. Whatever. Yay, we win. That was weird. And that was probably the toughest gym, at least in theory, because I don't really have great matchups versus Psychic types. I mean, no one does. There's really nothing good against Psychic in Gen 1. At least nothing available in the wild. So the fact that we beat Sabrina first try, in fact, we've beaten pretty much everything first try, actually, it's pretty good. Speaking of first try victories, this is the final Giovanni battle. He leads with Dugtrio, which I was worried about, but Guard Spec. Now, these are pretty high-level Pokemon, and wow, that did a lot. But, oh yeah, I have a level 46 Primeape. Now, it doesn't actually have a fighting move, which would have helped immensely. And now it's going to miss, isn't it? Yeah, that's great. Well, I do have it, and I also have level 41 Poliwhirl. So, level 41 Poliwhirl is through fishing on Route 23, the same place that I got the... Oh, wow, I just have Water Gun. Okay, I should have taught that Surf. Wow, that's doing a lot. Anyway, it has Amnesia. But yeah, Route 23, right before the Elite Four, you can actually access pretty much up to Victory Road. And then Starmie, thankfully, is going to... I could have lost this battle. But yeah, you're seeing some of the Pokemon we're going to be using in the Elite Four. I used them a little earlier than I would like. You'll notice that Poliwhirl, I haven't evolved it. Like in my solo series, there are reasons you might want a Poliwhirl with its speed over a Poliwrath, but we still have that option. Anywho, before we talk about the Elite Four, we still have to beat Rival 6. Now, you'll notice all my Pokemon are in the 40s, so they're probably good for Rival 6, but they're probably under-leveled, so is there anything we're going to get before that? The answer is yes, but it's mostly TMs. So you'll notice Starmie now has Psychic and Thunderbolt, so very much this Starmie is something I'm going to be using. Fearow, you'll see, I mean, well, just use Drill Peck. Wow, that actually is pretty good. And now Magneton, I can swap into Nidoking. Nidoking, by the way, level 44 Nidorino available on, you guessed it, Route 23. Route 23, pretty good place to catch Pokemon. Unfortunately, that Nidoking isn't there in Red and Blue if I were to do this challenge in that game. But level 50, it's still Kadabra. And then Vaporeon, we talked about how that's annoying, but we do have Thunderbolt now. And although one of the Hydro Pump missed, which is why Starmie was able to knock it out, it does. So to this point, the game has been fairly simple. But I have a feeling the Elite Four is going to be a little bit tougher. This isn't the Gen 1 Red and Blue Elite Four y'all are used to. The movesets have improved, and I can't simply exploit things the way I'd like to, and the way you guys are used to seeing in Red and Blue. And the best way to illustrate that is just show you. All right, so against Lauralee, I'm going to lead with Starmie, but I have a pretty big deficit, like level deficit. Now, it does go for rest turn 2, which is good. I'm using Hardens to boost my stats and to take less from takedown. So I knock out Dugong, and I almost knock out Cloyster in a single hit. The crit sucks because it hits right through my Hardens, but you'll notice, actually, so far looking a lot like Red and Blue, but you'll notice soon. Oh, okay, well, I'm telling you, they have better movesets. I can show you the movesets, but you'll notice really soon once I lose. Actually, am I going to even lose? Wow, I outsped. That's pretty cool. I don't know why I used Fly, by the way. There's infinite power points. But remember that level 46 Primate? We've taught it Submission, which of course it misses. So I hate the move. Oh, it didn't knock it out. Oh, Primate, you suck. But we do have the level 41 Poliwhirl with Body Slam, and we have beaten Lauralee. Now, one problem I had was that I actually don't have a lot of money, so I don't have as many potions as I'd like. I'm not going to save between Elite Four members because this is Generation 1, and if I have to save between Elite Four members, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Now, Bruno is way, way better in yellow than he is in red and blue. You're not going to really notice that because Starmie is like the perfect counter. Surf for the rock Pokemon, Psychic for the fighting ones, and yeah, I mean, the best thing it could do is Submission, which does decent damage. It's not bad, but it's not enough. Agatha, however, in ways, she's better than red and blue. She's less trolly, but she's also got, like, decent moves on some of her Pokemon. So, you'll see, it's a give and take here. I'm going to lead with Nidoking, because this one doesn't have Psychic, but it does have Mega Drain. We do one-shot, which is nice. Now, what do we do against Golbat? I guess I'll go into Fearow here. Wow, lots of crits. And it confused me. Great. Well, actually, we might knock it out, which would be... Okay, great. That's actually really good. Haunter is kind of a worse version of the red and blue Haunter, and we knock it out, which is sick. And now Arbok, all right, it's going to knock out Fearow. Come on, outspeed somehow. No, it doesn't. But we knock it out with Earthquake, and now here's Psychic Gengar. And this is the reason Agatha kind of sucks. Psychic Gengar, and it still has Hypnosis. Actually, I say still, this one didn't have Hypnosis previously. This one actually had Toxic. So it's actually way, way, way worse. And yeah, I really have nothing now. I could theoretically try to, okay, wait a minute. 1 Amnesia, 2 Amnesia. No, I shouldn't have used 3. No, greedy. I was so greedy. No crits. I was so greedy. I should have just used 2 and attacked. All right, well, Tentacruel might be able to do, wow. Okay, wait. No, we were so close. We were a hit away. All right, well, we lose to the new and improved Ace Gengar, and my team is not very good against Psychic types, so yay. Agatha 2, hopefully my dreams come true, but they're not coming true right now because we're confused because this thing can still do that. And paralyzed because that's what it does. All right, we knock it out, yay. Now, I don't know, go for Body Slam. Okay. Nidoking, I could have taught it something else. It's fine. All right, Starmie, let's go for Psychic. All right, that's good. And then Psychic, ooh, we actually outspeed the Haunter. Now we're confused. I'm going to swap into, go Tentacruel. Okay, perfect. Dream Eater's not going to do anything. I'm not asleep. Great, good job, Tentacruel. That's actually perfect. And then I'm paralyzed. That's fine. That crit was, wow. But I got a crit. And now, okay, that's fine. Great job, Tentacruel. You did a great job. Now, let's go for Drill Peck. No, not if I'm confused. Let's go. Okay, well, that sucks. Poliwhirl, put it to sleep. Do that. Yay. Okay. 1 Amnesia. No, it woke up so quickly. All right, so you can see how much 2 Amnesia Surf did, which isn't amazing. Ugh, not a crit. Oh, and I'm asleep. I hate this. It's so bad. All right, Primeape can't actually do anything. I guess it could use Seismic Toss. Shout out to Tracy from Pokemon Stadium. Anyway, we're put to sleep, confused, so we're done. Oh, we woke up. No, we're back asleep, and we're still confused. And our special fell. And yeah, yeah. Oh, a crit, let's go! All right, well, that was defeat? No, victory from the jaws of defeat, not defeat from the jaws of victory. That happens often on this channel when I make mistakes, but no, the reverse, the good one. So now we face Lance. In red and blue, this would be easy because 3 of Lance's Pokemon couldn't attack me. And the 4th, Gyarados, would probably faint to Thunderbolt. Well, actually, we're going to find that one out. And we're going to teach Blizzard to Tentacruel. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And we should teach Ice Beam to something. I guess Starmie makes the most sense. No, let's teach it to Poliwhirl, actually. Yeah, because we have Amnesia. That could work out really nice. All right, so we have rare candies as well. We haven't used them yet. There are 10 remaining. So that is an option. I'm allowed to use rare candies. The question is, who would I use them with? But we'll see. Okay, so Gyarados actually isn't a one-shot, but that's fine. Now we make it to Dragonair. Now, these Dragonair actually are decent. Thunder Wave and Thunderbolt. Yeah, so I think it's Thunderbolt, Bubble Beam, and Ice Beam, I think. So, yeah, that's a problem. Anyway, Nidoking actually can go for Earthquake. Slam is fine, and we knock it out. So this is probably Bubble Beam Dragonair. No, it's Ice Beam Dragonair. Okay, whoopsies. Ice Beam. I was wrong. Anyway, I'm going to go into... Oh, come on! Boo! Boo! 10% miss. All right. No, and another miss. Stop missing. Okay, there. Now let's go for 3 amnesias. 1, 2, 3. All right. Ice Beam. Knock out the Dragonair. No, we don't outspeed. Don't crit. Don't crit. Yes, didn't crit. Let's go. Okay, and now do we outspeed this? Yes, let's go. We made it to the champion. Let's go. Okay, so this is the champion, but the champ's going to be a little tough. We are going to have to contend with an Alakazam this time around. And, oh, wait, am I out of potions? I may be out of potions, too. Oh, that's bad. Come on, do I not have anything? I guess I could teach something toxic. No. Fissure? Oh, my God. Yeah, I don't really have... okay, well, this wasn't played the best by me. All right, might as well just see what the champ is like. Ugh, that sucks. All right, let's go. So, Sandslash versus Starmie. I go for Surf and Earthquake. Okay, well, that wasn't unexpected. Poliwhirl, do you outspeed? Yes, but that miss sucked. I was going to set up Amnesias, and this is why. Alakazam is just going to wreak havoc on my team. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Nah, maybe yes. Yeah, it gets a lot of crits, and now the rest of the things I have are weak to Psychic. Another reason we want Poliwhirl over Poliwrath, by the way. We don't need another thing weak to Psychic, but yeah. Yeah, not much I can do here. Oh, wow. Now there's not much I can do here. Okay, well, we made it to the champion fairly quickly. That's a good sign, right? Well, yes and no, because as it turns out, Lance is a little bit more annoying than he was in the first battle. You see, remember how I said against Aerodactyl? Well, actually, that was annoying. But remember how I said against... Oh, okay, that was annoying too. Okay, you know, maybe I'm not getting to Aerodactyl. Maybe Aerodactyl is just a myth. Okay, well... Primeape help here? Okay, actually, wow, great Primeape. Good job, proud of you. Anyway, remember I said Aerodactyl was a problem? Well, yeah, see, it turns out Aerodactyl doesn't even need to do much. I can just miss. Okay, well, that was awful. Wow, that was really bad. That wasn't even why I thought that would go poorly. Okay, so this is the third battle versus Lance. So pretty much similar circumstances to our last battle. Actually, Tentacruel's alive, but that did a lot of damage. No crit needed. That did a lot of damage. I was able to retaliate with Surf, but wasn't able to knock it out. Now, I'm going to go for Surf, right? Nope. Outspeed crit. I'm going to go for double kick, right? Well, that doesn't do enough damage. I should have taught Surf, and... Okay, that's maybe more on me. The point was to talk about the crit, but yeah, Aerodactyl's really, really tough. Like, really tough. All right, so this time, Tentacruel v Aerodactyl, we get... There's the crit. That's the problem. Gets too many crits. But after that crit, we put it to sleep. And 1 amnesia. I'm not going to be greedy. Surf doesn't knock it out. But second Surf does. Okay, problem is now Dragonite's going to outspeed because I didn't get 3 badge boosts. So now I have Primeape, which Yeah, Hyper Beam will knock me out. And in Gen 1, that means he gets to attack again. Blizzard will knock me out. And now Fearow, I guess I'll do Mirror Move, but Blizzard will knock me out. So yeah, unlike in Red and Blue, where Primeape would just beat Dragonite because it would spam Agility and Barrier, in Yellow, Dragonite actually is a really, really good Pokemon. That's super high level and has amazing stats. Yay! All right, so 5th try versus Lance. We are 1 for 4 right now. And we get a crit and don't one-shot the Gyarados, which is amazing. But it never attacks Starmie, which is good. That gives us a lot more health for Dragonair number 1. Thunderbolt actually doesn't kill. And then we get a special drop. Okay, so who are we going to go into here? Who's the best one? Let's go into Tentacruel, and then actually we outsped and Surf knocked it out. Didn't even mean to do that. I'm going to go for Barrier for Hyper Beam, and I actually get 2 misses, which is crazy. So I have 3 barriers, and that means Blizzard is doing more. Now, sadly, oh, no crit. I was going to say, sadly, we didn't outspeed, but no crit, and we do outspeed Dragonite. Okay, so that was not how I thought that battle would go, but that is probably the best version of the battle. But 2 10% Hyper Beam misses means that outcome was essentially 1%. Actually lower than 1%, probably like 0.6%, because Arrow didn't get a crit. So now we've made it back to the champion, and the question is, do I just use my rare candies? And if I do, how do I distribute them? There are 11 in the game. I've used one earlier. I forget why. It was to get a Pokemon a new move. And I've decided the Pokemon we want is not a fully evolved Pokemon. It's our gosh darn Poliwhirl, because it has Amnesia and Hypnosis, which makes it super duper powerful, and it's faster than a Poliwrath. And we're actually going to lead with it, and we're going to hope it can take out both Sandslash and Alakazam. So, step 1, put to sleep. Good step 1. 1 Amnesia. It's still asleep. 2 Amnesias. Darn. All right, you know what? No greed. Surf, knockout. Perfect. Alakazam, Surf. Oh, that critted. Okay, we get another opportunity. Surf. Stop critting. Okay, we get another opportunity. Surf. Okay, did half. No crit, no crit, no crit. All right. Psybeam. Whoa. No, we didn't knock it out. Oh, God. All right, well, it's at half now. Starmie, I don't know. Maybe I should have taught it Thunder Wave. Ugh, another crit. This is so annoying. This is the most annoying thing in the Annoyaverse. There's nothing I can do here now. Oh, well, okay. Well, can I hit? Can I hit? All right. Well, you know. Ugh. Well, even with rare candies, this battle is still kind of annoying with this. Well, I do love Kadabra for this reason. It's really good. But, man, this is just Tentacruel. But ugh. All right, so after losing to Lance one more time, I make it back to the champion. Will we get better luck? Level 51 Poliwhirl, same thing. 1 Amnesia, 2 Amnesia. Oh, it stayed asleep. 3 Amnesias. Look at that. Look at that. The luck's already going my way. All right, here is 1 Surf. And no crit and Kinesis miss. All right, we're probably just going to sweep with Poliwhirl at this point. Ice Beam on Executor. Leech Seed, not a problem. Executor down. Ninetales. Quick attack's fine. Go for Surf. Is Poliwhirl just going to sweep? Magneton. 3 Amnesia Surf. Oh, crit. No. Yes, Thunder Wave miss. Let's go. Oh, no, another crit. Are you kidding me? Thunder Wave. Oh, okay. I survive even with the 3 Amnesias. And now, quick attack. I'm going to put Hypnosis so that even though I won't win with the Poliwhirl, the level 46 Primeape, which we kept joking on stream, why is it even on this team? It's not doing anything. It's going to Screech. It's going to Strength. It's going to win. And after 4 hours, which is a long time for a Gen 1 run, we have defeated regular Pokemon Yellow. Not Kaizo Yellow, not Legacy Yellow, not level 100 Yellow. I actually haven't played level 100 Yellow. But we have beaten it without any experience points. That was frustrating at the end. And I'm sure some of you are rightfully pointing out that this wouldn't have been probably as bad in Red and Blue. And the truth of the matter is, while the Elite Four may have been easier, I wouldn't have had the same Pokemon. But There's really no way to know for sure unless I did another run, which I did, and I guess because I did it and I'm not going to make a video on it, I guess I'll just show you. So yeah, this is Pokemon Blue. The rules were identical for the run in yellow, it just wasn't Pokemon Blue. And funny enough, one area I think will be a lot harder for me is Brock, because unlike in yellow where I got that level 9 Pidgeotto and those level 6 Nidoran, the highest level my Pokemon are going to be is 5. Brock's Pokemon are also 2 levels higher, but this Geodude has Defense Curl, which I mentioned was a problem in yellow, but actually might help me, since I'm not going to do very much damage anyway. One saving grace is you can get level 5 Pidgey, and Pidgey gets Sand Attack at level 5. Now, I need to be super duper bo-booper careful, because even with Growls, it's going to do a lot of damage to level 5 Pokemon. It's doing 4, but that might be the lowest it does. No, 3. 3 is still 4 hits on Spearow. So the combination of it using Defense Curl, missing because of Sand Attack, and... Alright, see, it's not good enough. You can see this is so slow, and it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. This is where the level 9 Pidgeotto just really, really helped. Although with Defense Curls, it would help a lot less, but even a crit wouldn't do a lot. I'm hoping for a crit. Level 5 Rattata is able to get a crit, and it does, like, nothing. And I start to think about it. But funny enough, if we fast forward slowly but surely, we actually get really, really, really lucky, and Rattata knocks out Geodude. Now, Onix is going to be the same problem. Although it doesn't have Bind. Goes for Screech. I'm actually going to swap out right here. Goes for Screech. I'm going to swap out right here. There's Bide. I didn't mean to go for Tackle. I meant to go for Growl. Oh, quick Bide. But we want to Growl it as soon as possible. Onix actually doesn't have great attack. Geodude is much better attack. So 6 Growls is great. Because, yeah, look how little it does. 3 damage. And now all I have to do is hope it goes for Bide. We missed with Sand Attack, I think, twice. How does that happen? Anyway, that I think is all the Sand Attacks. We should be good. Remember, Bide hits through them. And then I actually can use Tail Whip. This probably won't help as much as I want it to, but let's see how much I do. Tackle. All right, well, yeah, it didn't really help. Anyway, we're just going to keep hitting it, keep hitting it, keep hitting it. Hey, Nidoran female, keep hitting it, keep hitting it. Hey, Nidoran male. And actually, in the end, Nidoran male at half health wins. Yay! I can't believe we won first try. So that actually I thought would take a really long time. But in the end, it only took 16 minutes in real life because we didn't need those super unlikely encounters. We had one unlikely encounter. Nidoran male was pretty low chance, but yay. Anyway, remember I talked about these trainers being awful? Yeah, well, they're awful because I'm full of level 5 Pokemon having to fight level 10. Now, the bug Pokemon aren't too much of a problem, especially against the Nidorans, and Rattata actually helps out immensely. This youngster is probably going to be one of the toughest trainers we fight in a while because we have a level 11. I mean, look, after one like, come on. So yeah, you can see this is just going to shred through my entire team. And I have nothing. Although Pidgey does. Wow, good for Pidgey. And thankfully, I have my Nidos. I might be able to beat this first try. I will. All right, so the next 2 trainers are bug catchers, which are much, much easier. We actually are going to make it to Route 3. That's pretty funny. But you can see in red and blue just how much of a problem it is before Route 3 with our weak Pokemon. But once we get to Route 3, things are going to improve drastically. Now, one other difference is you don't fight Team Rocket in red and blue, but I just wanted to show you, this time, although it's only level 12, I actually did use the extra Moonstone on the Clefairy and taught it Mega Punch instead of Geodude. This is because normal type, same type attack bonus, and fully evolved, I am hoping, and actually I calculated it, it would do more damage versus the Pidgeotto for Rival 2. And Rival 2's Pidgeotto with Sand Attack is one of the scariest Pokemon. The best way to deal with it is to knock it out quickly. Now, Rival 2 is a lot harder. I lost several times and actually had to catch a new team on Route 4. I didn't really bother with Route 4 at all in yellow. And you can see how the Clefable was a good choice versus Pidgeotto. The problem is, the rest of the team are no slouches. and Geodude wasn't enough, but now I have the level 12 Spearow from Route 4, although it barely did anything. The level 10 Geodude, yes, unfortunately, in Red and Blue, the strongest Geodude we get is level 10, which really sucks. But the level 12 Rattata from Route 4 will help us out immensely, and the reason I was not able to win until now is because I refused, well, I actually didn't think about using them, and it's close. This Zubat got really lucky, it got burned, and now I have Paris. Frickin' Paris. But after Charmander hits itself twice in Confusion, Paris can scratch. And so the first battle where I used optimal strategy, I win, but there's the key word, having to use optimal strategy. Using a bunch of level 9 Pokemon didn't really help me there. Now, another difference in Red and Blue is we don't get that random Bulbasaur that has Leech Seed, so how are we going to beat Misty, you might ask? Now, I always could just use level 31 Dugtrio, always a good plan, but I decided to do something a little different. I'm going to lead Clefable and go for Growl. And then I'm going to actually swap into Zubat just to do a Supersonic, and now I'll swap into Bellsprout. So Bellsprout can be caught at level 14 on 24 and 25, and I'm just going to spam Growth. This is not for badge boosts. It is literally just to raise its special high enough that I can, I was trying to two-shot, but we got a really clutch tackle miss. Bellsprout does faint, and now Zubat, oh my god, yes, Zubat knocks out, well, technically the Starmie knocked itself out, but due to the Supersonic used by Zubat. So how am I going to beat Misty? Bellsprout plus Zubat. But now that we've beaten Misty, and actually we could have just used the level 31 Dugtrio here, that level 31 Dugtrio is also available in Red and Blue. And just like last Rival 3, although the team is different, we're going to use Scratch. It's going to actually be a 3-shot against Pidgeotto, so we're very lucky we didn't get hit by that Sand Attack there. But then we can Dig Raticate, Dig Kadabra, and it is going to be Charmeleon. The big reason for that is Bulbasaur, I thought, would do the best against Brock, with both Growl and being a little bulkier, versus Squirtle's Tail Whip. I would rather lower its attack. So if you want to know why the Rival has Charmander, that's why. It wasn't actually to help or hurt me. It was because I thought Bulbasaur would be the best for Brock. Anyway, Surge is going to be just as easy this time, just more Pokemon. We just use Dig 3 times and then we win. But if you recall just, 30 minutes ago or something, in the last run, Dugtrio didn't actually do all that much at this point. Well, at least not much that you saw. It was helpful in random battles, which I did show a little bit. But we got Kadabra. That is not a thing in Pokemon Red and Blue. We aren't going to be able to get a super high level Kadabra. So how are we going to get through Erika and the rest of the gyms? Well, I was a little bit more creative. There are a bunch of fire and flying Pokemon around Celadon, so welcome Ninetales, level 20. Unfortunately, level 20 Ninetales can be outsped and wrapped. So oh wow, Poison Powder, that's pretty good. And now I'll use Tail Whip, just, maybe that'll work. Level 22 Bellsprout is also available, an upgrade. And we can kind of, oh yeah, wait a minute. I forgot about this. Bellsprout is grass poison, and the grass is what Victory Bell sees. Poison super effective against grass, therefore use only Poison Powder. So we actually wasted Ninetales for no reason, although the Tail Whip did make that a little less tedious. All right, now we have Tangela. I'm just going to use the level 22 Spearow that I got on Route 16. It actually knocks out Tangela. And then, remember Petal Dance? Well, same thing. We're going to send out this time the level 22 Bellsprout, and we actually can put this to sleep, which is even easier. And I think I'm just going to go for Dig with Dugtrio. And in the end, level 31 Dugtrio, I actually had Farfetch'd. You didn't even see that. I had 2 other flying Pokemon. So, a little bit more creative, but in the end, level 22 Bellsprout, which I actually only have because I needed something for cut. Yeah, it actually allowed me to win, which is crazy. And in red, we would have used Oddish. To be fair, Oddish wouldn't have been as good against Misty, so I'm glad I picked blue. For the record, I picked blue simply because it was the one sitting on my desk. So, yeah, very scientific choosing process there. But yeah, Oddish or Bellsprout, pretty good. Now, I did mention the level 25 Eevee you get in Celadon, but this time we're going to evolve it to Vaporeon and teach it TM11 Bubble Beam. We get Surf, so this is the only time to really use it. And although I didn't expect it to sweep, it does. Kangaskhan actually makes some bad moves. So we're using some different Pokemon here, which is pretty cool. I know I'm going through the run fairly quickly, but thus far, we first tried Victory everything except for Rival 2. But the truth is, other than showing the differences, the runs are in many ways identical. I mean, all the trainers are pretty much the same. Not that I really showed them. It's just about having different Pokemon and, of course, the gym leaders and other major battles having different teams. Speaking of which, Rival 4 has different teams and I have different Pokemon. We're going to use Bubble Beam and it's actually going to knock out Pidgeotto. Execute comes out next. And we're going to go into, let's go into Ducks. So level 22 Spearow on Route 16, traded for Ducks. Sadly, Ducks isn't very good, but when am I going to use this in a run? And is Ducks going to wake up? It does, and it knocks out Execute. Yay, Ducks! It did something. I don't have anything great for this Gyarados. Doduo, I should have taught Fly, which I don't know how it can learn that, but I just used Peck a few times, and it actually does really, really good. Gets knocked out, and then we're gonna go into, I guess, Bellsprout, sure. Cuts. Oh, nice crit there. Okay, Bellsprout. It doesn't actually have a grass move. Kadabra doesn't knock it out, and I'm gonna get a cut off, or multiple. Okay, well, that was surprising. It will get knocked out by Charmeleon, but we're going to have the Vaporeon. Remember last time the Eevee had Quick Attack. Eevee has a different moveset because it's the Rival's Pokemon, but things are looking pretty good so far. Overall, I would say the differences are my Pokemon are worse, but the opposing Pokemon are way worse. So I think it's fair to conclude that this has so far been easier, with the exception of Brock, which I first tried Victoried anyway, so yay me, I guess. But in the Pokemon Tower, I'm going to make a small change, one that you will see when I battle Koga, because we're going to use a Pokemon we didn't use last time, Haunter. See, Koga's team has poison moves and normal moves, meaning Haunter, even though it's restricted to using just Nightshade, I mean, technically I could have taught, wow, that Sledge did a lot, but I could have taught Psychic, but we're saving it for later. It's great. And although Haunter's defense is bad, there's very little that these Pokemon can actually do to it. And with a 13 level deficit, I think we're going to beat Weezing. And we do. Level 30 Haunter just completely shredded through this version of Koga's team. This is what I was hoping would happen, and as you saw, it's what did happen. Now remember last time after Koga we got Surf, but sadly, the Staryu and the Tentacruel are not catchable. Thankfully, there is still level 40 Tentacool, and while we can't gain experience points and evolve it, what we can do, as we save in front of Blaine, you'll notice 13 hours in-game time. Way less tedious catching, and therefore way less in-game time. But when we battle Blaine, you'll notice that our Tentacool has evolved because we're at level 41 since I can just use a rare candy. And so yeah, we have Tentacruel, and we badge boost because that Growlithe has agility. And I think we're just going to sweep because 3 barriers. Yep, okay, well, the Arcanine survived the Surf, which I was surprised by. But, oh yeah, we don't badge boost special yet. Right, I should know that. And you can see what some of our cool team members are going to be. But don't worry, if you didn't really catch them, we're going to use them against Rival Fivel here. And this is real Rival Fivel, but we can catch a level 43 Electrode in the Power Plant. I didn't bother doing this last time, and arguably I should have, but I didn't really think about it. Not that we needed to. We have a level 42 Weezing that is blue exclusive. I think it's a Muck in red, which is probably better. But it takes out both Execute and, shockingly, Gyarados. Now, Alakazam, wow, that didn't do as much as I thought it would. Okay, pretty good. So I can actually swap into Electrode, which is pretty speedy. And now Charizard, which is flying type, Electrode. And you can see I saved Thunderbolt. And the fact I'm using it with Electrode tells you that Electrode is very likely going to be an endgame Pokemon. Yes, there really aren't a ton of super high level Pokemon in Red and Blue, so we may have to use a level 43 Electrode, which To be fair, Primeape was around that, but we're not going to get access to that Nidoking or the Poliwhirl. All those Pokemon were yellow exclusive. Anyway, I'm going to quickly beat Giovanni number 2, and again, you'll notice the only good water Pokemon we really have is Tentacruel. Don't get me wrong, Tentacruel was great in the last run and made a difference, but it was one of 3 good water Pokemon we used. Now, it's going to have to do everything itself. Is it going to be able to do that? We'll find out. I mean, here, yes, obviously. But what about Sabrina? Well, Electrode does outspeed, so we're going to go for Thunderbolt, Psychic, Thunderbolt, nice amount of HP. Mr. Mime, Thunderbolt, Barrier's fine, Thunderbolt. Now Venomoth, we go for Thunderbolt, Leech Life is fine, Thunderbolt. And now against Alakazam, boom! Was pretty good. Electrode has been doing a great job. And against Giovanni number 3, the final gym leader remaining, he's much easier in red and blue. We can probably just use Tentacruel and sweep. Now, Giovanni leads with Rhyhorn, and if I were smart, I would have used Barrier, but I'm not. And yeah, that was very, very, very dumb. So I'll swap in Aerodactyl here for no other reason than I don't know what to do. Oh, well, actually, wait a minute. Can this hurt me? Wait a minute. Is Aerodactyl? Yes! Level 30 Aerodactyl from the fossil. I can't believe we just used that. And so because I forgot to use Barrier, which would have been great, although if it got a crit, I would have been pissed. Maybe I would have outsped. Anyway, now Tentacruel will sweep. Those are the 8 gym badges. And yeah, this was a much, much, much quicker 8 gym badges because we didn't need as many Pokemon. And you'll notice we still have a few team slots unfilled. We're not going to be using level 31 Dugtrio. The fact it's still on the team is a testament to how few good Pokemon we really get. And we are going to use them right now for Rival 6. But I don't know how good this battle is going to go. So here's the thing. Pidgeot is going to just use agility so I can set up triple barrier. And we don't have to worry about leveling up because 0 experience. So we have max defense and slightly increased speed. Now I forgot to teach Ice Beam, which I'm very annoyed by. So I'm going to send out the Muck. And oh yeah, we can get Muck as well. So Muck is going to knock it out. And then I use Muck on Gyarados. Muck's pretty strong. I mean, go Muck, go. Now I'm going to go into Electrode, knock out the Gyarados. And then I'm going to go for Self-Destruct. But, oh, we do actually outspeed. We don't knock it out. So I'm going to go, all right, I'm going to go Aerodactyl. All right, Tentacruel, come on, survive. No, and with the crit. Wheezing, go for Sludge. No, see, this is the problem. It's good AI. Theoretically, nah, Dugtrio, yeah. Okay. So, kind of a good news, bad news situation going on. Good news is we're close. Bad news is we lost. That's bad. I don't like to lose. All right, so in this battle, I do the same thing with Barrier, which is still dumb because once again, I forgot to teach Ice Beam. And we knock it out with Muck. Same thing. Exact same thing. So we can pretty much fast forward to where Electrode knocks out the Gyarados. So the thing is, I'm just going to go for Thunderbolt, and it goes for Recover, which sucks. Thunderbolt, and it's paralyzed. Now, I probably should have just used Thunder Wave, but honestly, I get pretty lucky with the paralyses, and so I'm able to knock it out, which leaves Electrode still around for Charizard, which is where I get the idea that maybe I want Electrode not to self-destruct or explode, because Electrode has a really good matchup against the Ace. In this battle, it didn't actually matter as much because Electrode could just sweep the final 3 Pokemon. In the final battle, we may need it for Alakazam, which comes out second. And then, of course, Charizard comes out last. We will get rock Pokemon theoretically in Victory Road, but are we going to use them? Well, why don't we fast forward a bit and you'll see. Okay, so as we battle Lorelie, you're going to notice that the Elite Four here sucks. And they suck because good AI is pretty garbage. Dugong has to use Rest, and that means we could theoretically set up, but that didn't do enough damage. So Electrode is going to knock out the Dugong, and then crit the Cloyster. Now, it's the fastest Pokemon. Now, against Slowbro, anything I use that is poison or fighting, it can only go for Amnesia. So I can just safely use something like Wheezing, and I won't lose any HP. Jinx also is going to likely use something like Thrash, which is bad against Weezing, and once again, Weezing can knock it out easily. And then Lapras have options here. Now, Electrode doesn't do as much as I would have wanted it to, but it gets a lot of crits, so I don't know what would have happened if it would have fainted. I don't know if Tentacruel could have finished the job, but it might have been able to. And we still had our ace in the hole. Maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't. Probably you saw it now as I heal, but if you haven't seen it, it is our Break Glass emergency Pokemon. Anyway, we're just going to sweep through. I'm actually going to have to use Barrier here because we don't have Psychic Starmie, but I can use Mega Drain, and now with the Barrier, Surf actually does one-shot everything, and even Machamp? No. Okay, not Machamp, but Submission does nothing. Okay, so we're at Agatha, who is way more annoying this time, and we don't have Nidoking, but we do have Marowak. Question is, okay, Hypnosis Miss is great. Wow, that back sprite is terrible. We haven't used Marowak yet. Man, that back sprite is ugly. Anyway, we get confused, then Haze is going to take away our confusion, so we knock out Golbat. Pretty good. No need to switch here, even though we're not doing very much damage. Just let the Electrode faint, do some Thunderbolts. It's all good. Nightshade knocks me out. It's fine. Now we'll go into Marowak. I'm confused. No. No. Okay, good. Dream Eater when I'm not asleep. Now, all right, no flinch. Very good. Oh, we don't knock it out in one hit. That's okay. And now, as long as it doesn't use Nightshade. Okay, well, here's what I'll do. I'm going to transform into Gengar, and I'm going to use Nightshade. And then it uses Confuse Ray, and, okay, Nightshade. Let's go. Think that was a Gen 1 miss by it. All right, that should be fine. We should be good here with Tentacruel. Oh, not Super Potion. Okay, Toxic is fine. All right, that crit may have helped. Level 43 Ditto is one of the highest level Pokemon we can get. And although transforming in a 0 EXP run is a little cheap, it's a strategy. It's not even that good of a strategy, to be perfectly honest with you. But it's one we can use potentially to maybe beat the champion, question mark. I don't know. Now, Lance was awful in yellow. We spent a lot of time on Lance. He's not going to be awful as we actually use our rare candies with Electrode. Electrode! How often is Electrode good? Y'all are really underestimating Electrode. But yeah, we're going to use it because I want Electrode to knock out Gyarados. Once that happens, the battle is pretty much over. So does this one shot? Oh, we only have 5. That's okay. Okay, so Dragonair. Wow, why did I just use Explosion? That was not what I should have done. Okay, I just realized there that the strategy there was pretty terrible because we could have done something much better. But instead, what we're going to do is triple barrier, and then, Ice Beam didn't knock it out. That's okay. These Dragonair can't attack me, but Aerodactyl can, and it gets a crit. But we get lucky that we survive on 4 HP. Now, what I should have done is just saved Electrode and then just used Electrode with Thunderbolt. That would have been smart, but sometimes I'm not very smart and I get lucky, and that's what happened there. Although maybe in theory I never get knocked out there, but favorable range. In case you're wondering why they don't attack, Psychic moves against poison Pokemon, but the Psychic moves do no damage. This is the Gen 1 Red and Blue Elite Four. In Yellow, they were given moves that actually are useful, so you never saw situations like this. And thankfully, for the game's sake, the champion doesn't have anything like this. Lance did, so I wasn't really worried about him. But maybe I should have been. Anyway, first try, we've made it to the champion. I have a bit of a weird strategy I want to use. Let's see if it works. So I'm going to lead with Ditto. I know, weird, but I have an idea for where Ditto could be useful. Ditto, Whirlwind from Pidgeot is perfect. Now, Ditto and Pidgeot have the same stats. Ditto keeps its HP. Ditto, go for Sky Attack. Mirror Move, Transform. That's weird. Anyway, I go for Sky Attack, and that didn't do enough. That crit didn't do enough. Wing Attack, I go for Sky Attack. It goes for Sky Attack. I go for Wing Attack. No! No! Okay, so the strategy was to use Pidgeot versus Alakazam. Now, I'm gonna I don't want to use Explosion here. I go for Thunderbolt. Reflect is fine. I go for Thunderbolt. Reflect is fine. We just won. We just won. That's it. GG. That was the game. Ditto was supposed to prevent Electrode from fainting, Electrode. Okay, so I'll just use Marowak here. It's fine. I'm a little worried about Horn Drill now since it outspeeds me, but thankfully that didn't happen. Earthquake, Knockout Rhydon. Next, Executor. Oh, actually, I'm a little worried about this. Let's go for Thrash. Get some damage on it. Oh, come on. 5 turns. Okay, Wheezing. It's going to have to go for Hypnosis. Ah, it hit. So it has to go for Hypnosis because that's a Psychic move, but that's also the best move it can go for. All right, we woke up. Hypnosis missed. Good. Nice Sludge. Yes, good. No heal. Oh, come on. No heal, no heal. No. Stop putting me to sleep. Stop putting me to sleep. Please wake up. Please wake up. No, there's the heal. Oh, God. Wheezing almost. No, it's back asleep. Wheezing. All right, we still have Muck. It's level 40. I believe these would be swapped in red, which I don't know if it would be helpful or not, but the truth. Another 5-turn barrage. This game sucks. All right, well, I think we just lost. All right, I'm going to use Barrier. Barrier, because it's going to go for Stomp. All right, well, with the Barrier is not so bad. Ice Beam. Okay, Hypnosis, back asleep. Stomp. Woke up quick. Okay, Ice Beam. Hypnosis. Stop it. Stop hitting with Hypnosis. 3-turn barrage. Stomp. Ice Beam. No, didn't knock it out. Yes, it froze it. All right, we got this. I may not even need to use Electrode. I actually think... Oh, wait, I forgot this Gyarados exists. All right, well, I'll just use Ice Beam. Okay, Electrode. Can you beat the next 2 Pokemon? We can't use Explosion. It's the last Pokemon, so we have to go Thunderbolt. We knock out Gyarados. That was easy. Fire Spin misses. Electrode! Let's go! So, Yellow and Pokemon Blue, and yes, Red would be very similar, have been beaten with 0 experience points. As you probably expected, although the Pokemon were weaker, the Red and Blue one was significantly easier and more cheesier, but I'm sure some of you would have liked to see it anyway, so I showed it in the video. And that is generations 1 through 3. I guess I haven't done Ruby and Sapphire. I don't know if anyone wants to see that. It's very similar to Emerald, but we have done every 0 EXP challenge I actually have. So that sucks. I love this challenge. And I enjoyed making this video. So hopefully you guys did. If you did, you know, like all the other stuff. But I'm going to be back with another new video very soon. Until then, take care.